Paper was like gold in medieval times.
Oh, not tobacco, sugar.
That everything we thought we knew about the world might turn out to be completely wrong.
Womb yoga is a yoga practice that respects and honours where you're at in your menstrual cycle. Here I share with you yoga practices that suit the different phases and stages of menstruation. We've got the pre-ovulation phase, ovulation phase, then the after ovulation phase, followed by the bleed. In this pre-ovulation practice, it's all about planting those seeds of intention at the start of your cycle. It's about cultivating a sense of stability as you enter into new beginnings. So bearing this in mind, we want to really tap into our core awareness. Come into a cross-leg position. And let's take the hands into what we call the yoni mudra, and that is the energetic gesture of placing your hands into a triangle, fingers touching, thumbs touching. Place the hands on your womb space, and then from here, take a few breaths down into your lower belly. It's about creating that intention of your hand placement to help you connect to this place in your body. And then from here, we'll just gently start to rock forward and back, tilting and rounding the pelvis, tipping forward and rounding back. And then let's start to circle. Can work slowly at a pace that suits your energy at the moment. The circles start off small, but then you can make them bigger. And reverse those circles. And then come back to center, where you're balancing on the middle of your sitting bones. Get that sense of grounding from the earth beneath you. And then we'll just gently lift the hands away from the body, maintaining that awareness still of that energetic space of the womb. Inhale, raise the yoni mudra up. And then exhale, let the arms open out to the side, the fingertips separate. And then as you tilt back, bring the hands back to connect at the womb space. So inhale, rock forward. Look up. Exhale, open the arms out. Inhale. Exhale. One more. So from here, we'll just open out a little bit more with the chest and reach up. And then open the arms halfway so that your elbows bend out to the sides, and then let the palms face up. Take a breath here. And then side bend over one way, over to your right. And look up. And then let the body sway forward and circle into a side bend with your right arm over the head, reaching to the left. A few more repetitions like that. So you synchronize the movement with the breath. Exhale, inhale, sweep up and around. Exhale. And then reach over into a twist. So reaching over and over. Look over your shoulder. Next up, if you can manage it, you can come up onto kneeling, and that just helps open up the hips. So from here, sweep up and rock into the knees and then come down. And then both knees coming up. Let's take the arms up, inhale. Bend the elbows, open the arms around to the side, and as you sit into a kneeling, return the hands into Yoni Mudra and just go with a few pulsations where you rock forward and back here. Inhale, take the arms up and raise up onto the knees. Exhale, circle the arms around, and then can work a little bit of strength into the legs there by lifting up on the knees and control your descent. One more. From here, take one hand to the lower back, one hand side bends. From the side, it's like this, and then bring your right hand to your lower back and reach over. One hand to the lower back, reach over. And then with both arms out in front, inhale. Circle the arms around, exhale. Bring the hands to the ground, tuck your toes under and lift the knees into a squat position. In this squat position, your heels might be lifted, that's okay. You want to just create a nice opening for the hips and just pedal the feet from side to side. Walk the hands behind you, the feet in front, and lie down onto your back, but we're going to go through a few pelvic tilts first of all. So if you get any discomfort in your lower back, you can hold behind your knees and get a bit of support. Otherwise, just tilt, tilt, tilt with the arms by your sides. Inhale, reach up, exhale, tilt. Try not to just use your neck muscles, use the strength in your lower belly. All the way down, and then bringing the hands again in that Yoni Mudra and placing them here on the pelvis. Have your feet hip width apart. Or just lift the hips up in a bridge, and then take the arms up, maintaining that triangle with your hands, looking up. And then exhale, circle the arms around and return it to the pelvis with the hips lifted. Lower the hips. Second one, push the hips up, raise the arms up. Arms come up overhead, circle them around and connect to your pelvis. Lower it down. Inhale, up with the arms, up with the hips. Exhale, circle the arms around, connect them to your womb space, and then slowly lower the hips down. With this position here, soles of the feet on the ground, knees pointing up, and you're lying down with your hands on your pelvis, on your womb. Just start to circle the lower back into the ground, and then reverse it and circle back the other way. Now have the pelvis nice and level. So your pelvis is in that neutral position. Don't let the ribs flare, but connect the ribs to the hip bones. So there's some core integrity. And then we could just lift one leg and then lower, and lift the other leg and lower. And then push the lower back into the ground a little bit. Lift both legs. Knees are bent. Open the knee one at a time out to the side. And if you'd like more sort of challenge here, you can do this with straight legs. And taking the legs out to the side. Just making sure you stay stable at your core. And you could try bringing the legs straight and halfway down. And also cycling your legs. Breathe smoothly and steadily, keep your shoulders down. And then reverse it. So all of these actions, they're just bringing a little bit of blood flow and circulation to your center body. Bring the soles of the feet out. So you've got the heels together and the balls of the feet radiating out. Toes turned out, knees open. Inhale here, and then exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs. For more challenge, you could raise your head and look up at the legs. And the arms can kind of mirror. We want to kind of create this lovely pattern of triangles and diamonds mirrored in the body to keep embodying that same quality of womb energy, that pelvic energy. So with the yoni mudra, and then the feet are open too. Bend the knees and place the soles of the feet back on the ground and place the hands back on the pelvis. Take a breath here. And let your energy center. Roll to your side, come and turn and face me. You can either stand on your hand or have your arm out straight with the knees bent. Again, the soles of the feet point out, heels together, toes apart, knees open and close. So don't let your pelvis roll back, but instead keep some integrity there where you're keeping the top hip on top of the bottom hip. And work with a little bit of resistance between the knees, zipping up through the inner thighs, all the way to the sitting bones, the pelvic floor, the glutes. Front ribs, keep them contained, and you can lift that top leg and open the knee for a bit more challenge. And lower the leg, push through your hands. Let's come up into this Z sit. So you've got the foot seamlessly coming into contact with your thigh, and then again just tilt the pelvis here. And here this will activate the pelvic floor muscles, your deep abdominals, the TVA. And here you can try inhale, expand, open up the chest, exhale, roll back onto the back of the sitting bones. And if you can rock all the way up and bring it down with control, and that opens up the pelvic space. So all of these expansion and contraction, moving into space with the movements originating at the pelvis, they create a sort of awakening and an invitation into your womb space. So they're actually really lovely at this pre-ovulation phase for opening into new potential. So whether that journey for you means looking into your fertility and your conception, or whether it's the start of a new project, now's where that source of creativity comes from. So that's why it's really nice to just bring the heat and the energy and the strength into it. So the same again, we've got the heels together, the toes apart, and then the knees opening and closing. Draw the front ribs in. Go with as open as feels right. You don't have to go too open. Notice all the while, I'm really conscious and active of what's going on with the feet and toes spread. A lot of awareness in the feet because the soles of the feet really mirror what's going on at the pelvic floor. Let's open the feet and then repeat those knee lifts with feet apart. There we go. And from here, push through the hands to come up, raising up into a Z sit with the sole of the foot on the thigh and tilt forward and back. Inhale, open, exhale. Remember here, you can raise up onto the knees, onto the shin, and open out like this, and then draw back in. Okay, and then bring yourself back into a cross-leg position. We finish here how we started, this small pre-ovulation phase, by bringing the hands into yoni mudra at the pelvis, and just go with the inner rhythm, inner pulsation of your own flow, your own movement. Let your eyes close and let your energy and your inner focus settle down into the womb. We'll move from here into the ovulation phase of the cycle, where you might experience more energy generally that accompanies all the hormones that are present during ovulation. So this might be a time in the month where you feel a lot more vivacious and sociable and outward facing. This is at the point where you might feel more confident and more sexy. So let's come to tabletop to begin. And in your tabletop, lengthen the belly, lift the chest, and then round the spine. Warming up with a few cat-cows, where you let the movement initiate at your pelvis, and then the head follows. Now, from here, send the hips back, stretch the lower back, sway the hips, and then we can sweep forward, bend the elbows like a press up, and then send the hips back. A couple of those. Inhale forward, press up, exhale back. And then tuck the toes under and send your hips up in downward facing dog. Downward dog is a really great pose for just allowing all the back muscles to release out. So let your head hang heavy as you push through the hands and send the sit bones up. Wag your tail a little bit by swaying the hips side to side and sending your heels one way then the other way. From here, let's take one leg up, high back behind you. Extend the right leg up, inhale. And then when you exhale, slowly bring the right knee forward and hover it towards the right elbow. Inhale, take it up and back behind you. Exhale, bring the knee to the elbow. Let's just do 2 more. Inhaling up and back, exhale, bring it forward. Again, inhale up and back, exhale, bring it forward. This time, step the right foot towards the hands. And then from here, come off the hands, come into a lunge position, and then reach the arms up in your lunge. Exhale, circle the arms around. Inhale, reach the arms up. And just being really aware of the space around you. Let's interlace the fingers behind and roll the shoulders back. And just lift the heart up. You're going to now shift your weight forward and start to come into a balance, a variation of warrior 3 pose. And you can just slide your hands to the lower back where you make a kind of triangle and place that on the base of your lower back, so at the sacroiliac joint, just there. And that will help you guide your hips so that they are level. And when you're here, just take a breath. You can bend that knee and pulse the foot up if you would like more challenge. Otherwise, land the foot lightly. Well, actually, we'll just hug the knee up into the chest and keep going. We'll come into dancer pose. So option 1, you stay here, balancing. Option 2, you take the leg back behind you and hold the foot. I'm holding it on the inside of the ankle. Let's lift the right arm up and then take the left leg back. So here, equally kicking back with that left leg as you are reaching forward with your chest. Just go into the full expression of your movement here, of your pose, and then gently make your way back down into a low lunge with the hands in contact with the ground. And then send the right leg back. Lower the knees, send the hips back. And then come forward and bend the elbows and just press up a little bit. Coming back, inhale. Exhale, press up. Pressing up on the knees, it's not too hard. Let's hope anyway. And then come back into downward dog. And we'll repeat this on the left side. So when you're ready, the left leg is gonna gradually come up back behind you. And then when you exhale, bring the knee forward. Keep it quite high, bring it to the left elbow. Inhale, bring it up and back. Exhale, left knee forward. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, this time the left foot steps and lands lightly. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, circle the arms around. So left hand to the heart, right hand to the pelvis. You want to get a sense of a relationship between these two energetic centers, the heart and the pelvis. Have them aligned physically in space. And so they're communicating together because there's a really important relationship between the heart and the womb. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, circle. And then inhale, ready to balance in warrior 3. Bring that triangle, the back of the hands, in contact with your sacrum, your sacroiliac joint. Breathe here, the center of the back. And then transition to a standing balance where you hug your right knee into the chest. The left arm will come up and the right ankle, you take it with the right hand. Kick back with the right foot, lean forward with the chest. Try and stay even between your shoulders, even between the hips. So the thing I love about this pose is it's really expansive and expressive, and it just builds confidence. Let's land lightly with the back foot. Bring your hands down, step back. There's a moment of plank position before you bend the knees and send the hips back. Inhale, come into tabletop. And exhale, let's just take the right knee up and back. And this time, the left hand forward and grab the ankle. So it's opposite hand and foot. And breathe here. And try the other side. So left knee comes up as high as possible. Keep the glutes active. And then take the right arm behind and open up here. So it's opposite hand and foot. Otherwise you might find it a bit hard to balance. Okay, and then slowly bring it down. So let the hips sway a little bit. And you can kind of let the hips and the shoulders sway opposite directions. Getting into a bit more fluid movement and let the movement become instinctive, intuitive. A little bit more sort of juicy, I suppose. So circle the hips and reverse it. And then a figure of 8 between the hips and the shoulders. Exhale, hips go back. Inhale, come forward. And then reverse those figures of 8. All right, from here, come down onto the belly. Bend the knees, take the ankles. If you can't reach your ankles, you can just have your hands on the floor and then just lift the knees. Otherwise, take support of your ankles with your hands. Kick back and lift the chest. And slowly rest down with your hands as a pillow and just let the hips rock. And allow the ground to take support of your body. We'll push back into child's pose. Gather the fingers together. Draw the hands along the ground and in towards that Yoni Mudra position. So you've got the hands in a triangle on the pelvis. Hopefully that's quite invigorating and strength building. So we'll take this practice now into the post-ovulation phase of the menstrual cycle. So this is the time of the month where you start to feel your energy taper off and maybe starting to get a little bit irritable or your tolerance threshold is a little bit lower, maybe a bit more sensitive. So let's start in this kneeling position with the knees open, and that encourages a kind of opening in towards the earth energy, and the earth offers us stability and grounding when we need it. So take this gesture with the hand, it's Yoni Mudra. You place that on the lower belly and just let the pelvis tilt forward and back. And move with the breath. So when you're ready, that tilting and rocking can become a little bigger and a little more rhythmic, and can start to then take you forward into hands and knees. So you could go from your knees and gather back to the womb space. So drop the pelvis, kneeling and gather back. And one more. And walk the hands forward, tabletop position, circle the knees. Circle the hips. And relax your jaw. You can breathe out through the mouth saying ha. Reverse the circles. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth saying ha. Moving in a really rhythmic way just allows you to awaken into what's going on inside for you. You find and tune into your own inner compass when you let your body rock and sway in a comforting, soothing, rhythmic way. And take the figure of 8 here. So the shoulders come forward and the hips wind back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And reverse it. And then, so from here, let's step the right foot out to the side, and you can circle here as well, where we've got the hands and the feet padding around on the ground. Inhale through the mouth, and when you exhale, it's a really nice sigh, and that's just an opportunity to let go of anything you don't need, any remaining stress or tension from the month that can just be released right here in this space. And then raise up onto kneeling, and can rock forward and back if that's all right for your shin on the left side. Or you can just stay here in a lizard pose with the hands on the inside of that right foot. And it's starting to open up the pelvic space to help relieve any discomfort or cramps that might be happening for you. Come up onto the knee. You can open up the chest by circling the arm, the shoulder. Looking behind you as well, here. And then send the knee back. Let's come to the other side. So circle around. Maybe you need to pad up your knee with a cushion. Help yourself to that. Otherwise, you just work here, taking up loads of space and padding around. Getting into this sort of grounded and primal, almost like a little animal here. Reverse the circles. It helps release the lower back. And then either the hands are just here and you're in lizard pose with the hands on the inside, and you just work on relaxing the pelvis and the jaw, surrendering to the ground. Or if you liked it last time, you can kind of rock forward and back with your hips. But it just depends on your knee, really, if you're comfortable there. And elbow to the knee, right arm, inhale up, exhale, circle it around. From here, tuck the toes under, come back into your tabletop, but then walk the hands in to the knees, and you come up in a squat. Take your yoni mudra and take it with you all the way up to standing. So you might want to step towards the middle of the mat here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Yoni mudra comes up. Exhale, circle it around and place the hands on the pelvis. Bend the knees, push the pelvis forward, lift the heart. Inhale, arms over the head, circle it around, bring it to the pelvis. Get into, it's kind of like a body wave with your movement. The hips go back, rock onto the heels, and then the hips go forward, push onto the balls of the feet. And then from here with your hands on your hips, you can just sway the hips into a figure of 8 here. And you move at your own pace. You can go a little bit lower, whatever's comfortable for your knees, and reverse it. Sometimes reversing it is hard to get the coordination. And hopefully that's working with a sense of fluidity, and it just is gentle, right? It's not too strenuous, so you work with the energy that you've got at the moment. So let's take that into a really simple flow where we, from here, the hands are on yoni mudra. Inhale, reach the hips forward and the arms up. Exhale, circle it back round. Halfway up, inhale, reach the arms up as you bend the knees, and then exhale, yoni mudra. Bring the knees down, hands to the ground. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, lower the knees, slide the hands to the knees, squat position. Inhale, you got your yoni mudra. Reach all the way up, and then circle the arms around, place them back to the pelvis. Ready, let's go again. Inhale, push the hips forward, reach the arms up. Circle the arms around, place them on the pelvis. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, squat position. Lower the knees, slide the hands to the ground. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale. Coming back down to the ground, to the knees. Inhale. Yoni mudra as you land. All right, so that completes our little flow for the post-ovulation phase of your menstrual cycle. I hope that it's given you enough stability and grounding, yet a bit of a boost in your energy levels to keep you going to the rest of your menstrual cycle. All right, so let's work now into the menstrual phase of your menstrual cycle, right? So when you're bleeding. Now, some people think that you shouldn't do any yoga during this phase of your cycle, but there's a lot of question marks around that, and it depends, of course, on the types of things that you're doing. So let's come down onto the mat, so forward bend. Take a moment here, actually, in the forward bend, and just give the backs of the legs a rub, because this is such a great posture for calming the nerves. Soften your knees. And let your arms hang heavy, and just shake out your head, release your jaw. And when you're ready, we'll make your way down into a squat. So bend your knees and lower the hips. In this low squat position, you can do a little bit of pelvic floor lifts and releases. So it's like the perineum, the superficial layer of your pelvic floor, just gathering together and drawing up the vaginal walls, and it's just, and then that releasing. Okay, bring the knees down and come around so that you're sitting with this diamond shape with the legs, so the knees out to the sides and the soles of the feet together. I find it helpful to hold onto the ankles just to help you sit tall. Now, as you slow your breath right down, let your mind's eye just gather down into your pelvic region. So sometimes when the symptoms of menstruation are so uncomfortable, we try to avoid the whole area and forget that it's even going on. But actually, if you do the opposite and you pay attention and draw your focus in, it has a lot of very sort of therapeutic benefits, and it will help those symptoms kind of alleviate. So giving your body the time and the attention and the focus that it's crying out for. So when we start to listen deep, our body starts to feel encouraged to speak more and more often. So let's bring one heel in and then the other heel on top, and this is Siddhasana. So yeah, that's how the instincts work really, and your intuition. The more you give it a voice in your life, the more it will speak up when you need it. And the best way to do that is just literally taking your mind's eye and your breath into different places in your body and listening in. So here I've got one heel pretty much in contact with the perineum, and then the other heel stacked in front. And this is a really lovely meditation pose actually. You can bring in a mudra called Prithvi mudra, and that's bringing the ring finger to the tip of the thumb. And this is said to cultivate the earth element in your circuitry, your energy. So just practice sitting like this and practice being really still. It's the time in the month where our body is just telling us it's time to retreat and rest and recuperate. So if we respect that and honour that, then it will benefit us in the medium to long run by providing us with more abundant energy throughout the rest of the month. So everything in nature has natural cycles of rest and renewal, followed by growth and expansion. But if we take away the rest and renewal, then there's less energy there for that growth and expansion. Slowly allow the breath to settle into a nice rhythmic pace. And then we'll just release the mudra and take your legs out to the sides. So you might need a cushion under your bum. You might need to bring the legs in and bend the knees. It depends on your body, but either way, you can do the churning here, where you're just sort of rolling around on the sit bones. If you don't like that on your sit bones, get a cushion under there and you can tilt your pelvis. Or you can do it with straight legs. And there's no medals for anyone that can kind of bring their head to their feet. It's not really about how flexible. It's more about getting into that churning energy of awakening the core and opening up the hips and the hamstrings. So this will look different for everyone. You just go at a pace that suits you. Whether you've got your hands on top of the thighs or underneath for support, both works. Let's reverse those circles. You can also do this with the hands, where you interlace your fingers and bring the arms forward and then churn and bring it back. It's said to look like a big stirring pot. And then from here, settle in the middle. You can come forward into the space between the legs here. So flex the feet, inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, come forward. So again, just working with a range of motion that suits your flexibility. Don't force it, but instead tune into the subtle changes, moment to moment, breath to breath. You can stack two fists and maybe reach your forehead to the fist, maybe. And if you feel any discomfort in your lower back, then ease off, of course. You can walk over to your left side. So here, in this sort of feminine approach to yoga practice, starting on the left side is kind of honouring that feminine principle, because the left side is associated with the feminine and the right with the masculine. So that's just something small there, a small act of rebellion against the patriarch, leading with the left side rather than the right. And slowly settling here on your right side now. And back into the middle. Take underneath the knees and hug the knees up into the chest and balance here. You can bring your forehead to the knees and be in the moment of like the womb or a cocoon. It's really nice, just eyes closed. And let's now come onto your bellies. So from here, this little bit of pressure of the ground on the belly is really great for menstrual cramps as well. Have your feet comfortably far apart. Allow the tailbone to press away and your pubic bone down. And just lift up, inhale. And exhale. So you're stretching out your abdominals and you're strengthening the glutes. And this, like I say, can help relieve menstrual tension. Menstrual cramps. You can turn and look over one shoulder and come down. Inhale, come up. Look over the other shoulder and come down. So next up, if you've got wall space handy, it's good to come over to the wall and put your legs up the wall. If you don't have wall space handy or you can't be bothered to shuffle around, you can just be here with the arms and legs dangling and just taking a minute in that inversion. Otherwise, it's really great and therapeutic to just bring your butt all the way to the wall and let your legs go straight up on the wall. And here, give the legs a little massage, little rub, and circle your ankles and just look up at your feet. Take a moment of stillness. The hands can return to Yoni Mudra, that triangle, just in acknowledgement of all of the work that's being done here as you're in the bleed phase of your cycle. So in this time, it's really lovely to acknowledge what you want to let go of in this month. That which is not serving you any longer, stuff that you want to just release. Sometimes it can be really brave and it takes a lot of courage to know when to say no and to recognise when to let go of things. But when we do, it releases so much energy and potential to attract the right things in our lives. So use this time and space in the month to do that really important culling process. All right, so when you feel replenished, you can just make your way away from the wall or bring the arms and legs down, the soles of the feet on the ground, and walk the feet wide and let the knees knock in towards each other to support your legs. And then let the hand go down onto the womb space and then one to the heart, and you can just breathe between those two places. Heart to womb, womb to heart. There's said to be an additional energetic channel in women that links the heart to the womb space. And if we maintain that connection in our awareness, it can really make sure that we're guided by our intuition in our daily lives. So you're welcome to lie down in Shavasana here with the legs out straight and the arms out to the sides, and allow yourself deep rest and recovery. Or have a little nap if you want. Or come up into meditation, or just roll to your side and complete your practice there and get ready for the rest of your day. Namaste.